Carol Shea Porter also. If we could talk to Mary Fallin, a Republican of Oklahoma, former Lieutenant Governor of Oklahoma. Congresswoman Fallin, what did you hear in the President's speech that you agreed with?
Well, the President talked about some of the challenges facing America, and he talked about issues like helping our economy recover and how important it is to do that quickly. He talked about reducing our dependence on foreign energy, also talked about renewable energies, how we need to work on reforming health care and education. Those are all things I think we all agree upon in principle. It's just how do we get there? And I think there are some differences on how we get there. He also talked about the crushing debt that our nation is facing, but it's kind of an oxymoron when we've been spending a lot of money here in Washington, D.C. and putting that crushing debt upon our children. And I'm very concerned about how we are going to pay off this debt and what the solutions would be proposed by his administration, because we cannot have tax increases during this time. And there's been some talk out here about taxes to help pay off some of this debt. So it's going to be an interesting year, and when we can agree on issues that will help us lower our health care costs, keep our nation safe, reduce our dependency on foreign oil, we'll be there to help him. But when there are issues that will increase taxes or create more government or more debt, then we're going to be offering up better solutions to not do that.
Well, do you feel a bipartisan spirit here in the House?
Well, I think everybody knows that these are very challenging times for our nation, and it's important that we can find common ground when possible. But there are a divergence of issues when it comes to how do you solve the nation's problems. And we've had some massive spending bills, when it started with the financial bailout, the TARP money, to the housing bailout, to the automakers bailout, now to the new stimulus program, which has massive new earmarks in it. In fact, you might have heard a couple of chuckles when the President said there weren't any earmarks in the stimulus package, because many of us do believe there are a lot of earmarks in there. And just the difference between whether government is the one to solve the problems or whether we need to innovate and help our private sector create jobs and opportunities, and how big of a role government should play in, say, health care, those types of issues. So there will be disagreement on those types of issues, and but all in all, we need to work together to try to find solutions to these problems.
And if I remember correctly, Oklahoma City at the Capitol, there's a working oil well, so energy is an issue that affects Oklahoma. Drop in the price of oil, has that affected your economy?
Well, Oklahoma's been very fortunate to diversify our economy. We've been through the boom and bust days many times in our state, and we're used to going through those cycles. Oil being down right now, the price of gas being down, has certainly affected our economy. It has affected some of our businesses, but we have about a 4.8% unemployment rate, so we're doing better than most of the nation. We have a very low foreclosure rate. And people in Oklahoma work hard. They try to be thrifty, and they try to spend within their means and not overspend. But all that to be said, oil and gas and energy policy, wind, solar, all those things are very important to Oklahoma's economy. I was very concerned tonight when I heard him mention about capping emissions and talking about some energy policies related to renewables, because you didn't hear him talk too much about fossil fuels, which is important to Oklahoma's economy. So those things do concern me in his speech, especially as it relates to our economy.
A Republican from Oklahoma, Mary Fallin, thank you for spending a few minutes with C-SPAN.
Thank you very much.
We continue to be live here in Statuary Hall, just a short walk from the new House chamber. This is the old House chamber.